Do y'all feel like kids break up marriages or relationships or relationships?
That's a great question.
Well, sometimes I won't say they break them up, but and however, the the amount of stresses that sometimes children can bring to a marriage, a relationship, it can cause a huge taxing burden,
Mm.
especially as they get older and they can get into trouble.
I think it's
Then
when
they
they're
can get into
younger.
legal trouble and things of that nature. I mean,
Sure.
it just can be compounded to where it can leave you with some questions, to where you feel like you may have to give an ultimatum. You have to, make a decision, a choice, because of how much you can continue to bear and withstand. So it's possible, if you get the scenario of, a child that's literally, selling drugs or in a gang and
Problem
all
child.
these, yeah, these types of problems become really, really serious.
For sure.
They can become very expensive because now all of the fees and
Right.
this and the that, sometimes those become really, really serious. And then on the other hand, you have the medical needs children sometimes
Yeah.
that everybody's not
That
equipped to
definitely
deal
put a
with,
strains on
so
you.
it's
Yeah.
possible. It's not far-fetched. It's not unlikely that somebody who is
So
dating or in a
tactful again.
Right, for sure.
I'm sorry, but but that's just where I feel. It's not unlikely that somebody who is dating can come into a situation, get introduced to the children, and then see that they are not equipped to deal with the children because of the type of lifestyle that they need.
I want to go last.
Okay, cool. It's funny that we mentioned this because I didn't even think about it until we said it. Of course, me being an only child, I wasn't always a only child. Like my parents were married, but I actually think that I definitely broke up their marriage. Yeah, I didn't think about it until just like right now, us discussing it. But they were fine, and then they had me. The difference was my mother was a white collar worker, and my dad was a blue collar worker. And at a certain point in their marriage, my mom would always have to travel for work and take flights here, there, and this. And so then my dad, being a blue collar worker, of course, he'd still be at home, right, with me. And all of a sudden, he just felt a bit like emasculated. Like, hold on now, like, this ain't necessarily what I signed up for. Like, I don't like how this is going. But my mom, being one of those working women in the 90s, was like, well, damn, you knew who I was before I met you, so how are we supposed to compromise? Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And unfortunately, neither one of them was looking forward to trying to compromise. And that ultimately, you know what I'm saying, broke up the marriage. So I definitely feel like children can factor into it, just when it comes to the marriage. It can definitely break things up.
Yeah.
I feel like with your situation with your mom and dad, had it been the other way around, would your mom have lived your dad?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
I think that when you have kids with somebody, the responsibility.
Well, now he cares about every kid word.
Right.
The responsibility should be somewhat equal, even though most of it goes off to mom. But there's so many other things that we have to do other than sitting for the children.
Sure.
That I don't think dads necessarily pay attention to because everything is afloat.
Right.
Like there's no past due bills coming. There's no the food's in the refrigerator, it's dinner on the stove. But you have to think about what she did in order to get all of these things done. And whether or not she wants to take a flight or she needs to go to work or whatever she needs to do is to keep the ship flowing. And a lot of men, as you said, can feel emasculated, but it's not to emasculate you because your mom worked, I'm pretty sure, because probably she needed to. And you have to take that into accountability as men. Like, if you don't want her to work, that's one thing. And then you don't have to worry about, I'm taking this work trip.
Right.
Because ultimately, like, something has to be answered to. And I say all the time to, like, my husband, when I go on a trip, it's different. I'm packing bags for 3 people. I'm making sure that everything here is done before I leave. I gotta pack bags for both of the kids. Because I don't leave them with him. I gotta make sure that they got what they need. I gotta make sure I got what I need. I gotta make sure he has what he needs. And nobody's necessarily worried about that when he goes on the trip. He is literally packing a bag for himself.
He going. That's it.
He don't care where they going, what they doing. He ain't asking nothing. Like, I don't necessarily think that the kids break up the marriage. I think that adults not wanting to be helped next to each other while having children breaks up the marriage or the relationship, because at the end of the day, they are little beings. They did not ask to be here, and you two made them together. And you should do whatever it takes to get them where they need to be in life and support each other, because ultimately, I don't think any kid really wants to live without mom or dad.